What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock and what you should be looking after for the future. I'm also going to answer the question, is NIO going to squeeze? What are the odds of this thing squeezing? What are the odds of NIO exploding in the future? And why I still believe in a lot of potential in the company going forward. Now, before I break anything down about NIO, before I get into any more details about the data and the share price, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Make sure you take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each valued at up to $3,000. And the best part is, any could be a free Tesla share, a free NIO share, or a mix of all of them. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends in just 11 days. Make sure you check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So looking at NIO, this thing was actually down about 0.74% at the time I'm recording this, just a few minutes before the market closes. And so far, NIO is still holding the $10 level. But overall, it's looking weaker and weaker by the days, unfortunately. I know a lot of us love NIO. We want this thing to just succeed and do super, super well. But we're clearly forming a divergence right over here on the hourly time frame. You could see right here, the RSI was a lot lower. Down here, the RSI was lower. The RSI got higher. And that's despite the fact that NIO made a lower high in the share price, right? And on the daily, let me check if there are any divergences. Looking at this, we can't count this because this was actually a glitch. I'm not seeing too many on the daily. They don't have to really form, but I just want to note to everyone that when we see the share price performing this way and acting this way, I want to note that it's not the end of the world. I actually think we have a divergence right here. So there's another divergence that formed right here. I didn't actually see this immediately, but notice how the RSI was in the 60, about 60, maybe like 54 or so, around there, right? And then the RSI right here reached 62. So the RSI got a little bit higher between this peak area and this peak. Look at the RSI, it got a little higher, but the share price actually got lower. And you can't count this. This 14.36 was a glitch, so we can't really count that. So it's looking like we have a bearish divergence that formed, a hidden bearish divergence. NIO is likely going to see some downside in the future. And notice how it's just slowly getting closer to $10 flat. It's really just not breaking out. It's not getting the big bounce we want. And the potential it has, yes, it's amazing. It's an awesome company, but this potential is likely going to continue. This potential downside, I mean. Now, I know you don't want to hear that, and you're probably wondering, well, is this thing going to see a squeeze? And my answer to that is, I believe NIO will squeeze, but not the way you think. Let me explain. NIO has a short interest of 79 million shares, 2.2 days to cover with a short interest of almost 6%. So it has been increasing over the last few months, right? So we are seeing more and more of the shorts piling in. However, the cost to borrow of NIO is actually very low. The last time I checked it, I think it was extremely low the last time I checked it. I can't really find it on here, but I just remember it had a very low cost to borrow, and that's gonna actually give a lot of the shorts an edge, because what happens is there are businesses out there that own a lot of NIO. Institutional ownership is in the hundreds of millions, and what they tend to do is they buy these shares, they lend them out, and they make money off the fees. Now, they're not incentivized to do that because the fees are relatively low for the company, but the edge that they have is it's not as expensive to short a company like NIO as it is to short something with a much higher short interest and a much higher cost to borrow, right? So in my opinion, is NIO going to squeeze in the immediate term? My answer to that is most likely not. We're probably not going to see NIO just explode out of nowhere. We're not going to see it just build a lot of momentum and start running. It does not have a lot of the features that lots of short squeeze plays have, but there is one thing that could cause it to squeeze or help it in the much later future. That's going to be the short interest, right? There are still tens of millions of NIO shares that have been shorted. You have to remember that. What this tells me is, as time goes on, as the months pass, NIO could only stay down here for so long. It's not going to stay at these low levels forever. I could see this thing slowly breaking to the nines. I am seeing potential for that to happen. You could see it's just touching 9 again. It's barely holding 10 at this point. It's likely going to come down to the nines, okay? Now, I'm saying all of this because even though NIO is going to come down, most likely, even though these market makers may drag it down with other institutions and etc., it's not the end of the world. Because as the company grows and as the company shows improvements fundamentally, I do believe this company is going to see a much better share price. For the time being, things are getting harder in China, demand is slowing down, but I also believe that going forward, as many months pass, once NIO starts recovering with the market, if the market gets in everything squeeze, which I believe it most likely will, NIO could squeeze with the market, and lots of these shorts will start to cover their positions. How? Because they don't just start closing positions, but they start hedging by buying into the shares. And I also believe that we're going to see more and more of that as months pass by. So is NIO going to squeeze? For the short term, I don't see that happening. For like next week, next few weeks, maybe next month or so, I don't really see that happening to NIO. For the next many months going into next year, could NIO squeeze? Yes. We've actually seen this thing squeeze a bit in the past, and I do believe it could end up happening. Going back, I'm going to actually hide my drawings for this point. I just want to note that look all the way back here, back in like 2021, when retail was coming back, when we saw lots of FOMO, when the market was excited. NIO squeezed from $2, actually a dollar. It was only at a dollar at that point. In 2020, NIO was at a dollar a share. It was at a dollar until like mid 2020. Then this thing started running. Then as we got to 2021, it hit 67 bucks a share. That's very impressive stuff right there. What does this tell me about the future? I think this could happen again one day. We could see a very nice move to the upside like this one day. Whoops. A really nice push to the upside. I do believe shorts are going to start covering when this thing is ready to explode. Are we there yet? The answer is no. All right. It's been slowly bleeding again and again. The downtrend is still there. And I do think the nines are very likely to come soon. I don't guarantee that 10 is going to hold. That's because of the weakness we're seeing. But once again, I have not lost faith in the company and its fundamentals. The best thing we could do is just be patient and remain calm, cool, and collected. So anyways, that's basically what I have for this video. Yes, the short term might have some pain, guys. I see this as another buying opportunity. And remember, those who are patient are the ones that come out on top. The stock market is going to be closed in the United States on Monday, right? This is in commemorance of George Washington's birthday. Um, I also want to note that this is going to be happening, and there's not really much that's going to be happening from that end. I will have a video anyways on that day, and the next time we're going to see each other with the market open is going to be on Tuesday. All right, so I want to thank you all so much for listening. Please enjoy the weekend. Get ready for big things to come going forward. And NIO does have a very important meeting within 2 weeks. The conference call they have is going to be coming. So just be ready. We have some big things coming. I'm still very bullish long term, and I'll see you guys in the next one. NIO to the moon, because the long term future is still incredibly bright. And peace out.